Hi, if you're enjoying my videos, don't forget to subscribe. What up guys, this is Monkey Figure Reviews, and today we are going to review the Portrait of Pirates P.O.P limited edition Eustass Captain Kit by MEGAHOUSE. So I stated in my maximum kit video that this figure was probably gonna arrive soon, and it actually did about a few days ago. So just a little bit of background, I've been wanting to get this figure for quite some time, especially the first release, but because it's limited edition and it's really rare and it became really expensive, it was quite difficult to get. So when MEGAHOUSE announced that they were going to do another re-release of this figure, I was pretty excited till I saw the price, because eventually it still ended up, I think, possibly even more expensive than the first edition. But I think because Kit is such a wonderful character, I think this figure is something that I want to get. And he looks, honestly, based on photos that I've seen of the first edition, he looks absolutely amazing, and I can't wait to see how he looks like in real life. So let's just jump straight to the box. And I'm pretty sure that the box design itself this time around is different from the first edition. So right at the front you can see the figure, and you can see a picture of Kit, and it says series name, and we have this 15th anniversary logo. We also have basically the character's name, and I think here it says limited re-release in kanji. So at the top here we have our silver toei sticker to prove its authenticity. The overall design seems pretty cool. You get this, like, I guess lightning streaks, or I think they're supposed to represent the magnetism and Kit's power. And the box is honestly pretty huge. So as you can see, it goes quite deep in. I think the cape is at the back, and here's of course another image of Kit. This is the other side, more images of Captain Kit and what we are going to get. He's pretty much fixed pose, so you only have one option to display him in. And at the back here you get to see the whole full body image of Kit. And let me just show you guys, the top is really heavy. This is how it is, and you have another top window where you can see into the figure. Alright, so as you can see, it's brand new and sealed, and let's do the unboxing. I have taken out the parts of the figure, and there's a total of 3 pieces. We have the main figure, Kit himself, we have the base, and we also have his coat over here. So I just want to mention something that is kind of weird, is when I was doing the unboxing, the internal plastic packaging has a little bit of oily substance on it. I think it could be just oil. And even the base itself, there was some oily smudges on it. I'm not sure if that was transferred from my fingers when I was handling the plastic packaging or not. But yeah, it was a little bit oily throughout, and I think this is the first time I'm doing an unboxing and there's oil or oily substance involved. So I find it really weird. So do let me know if any of you guys experienced the same thing when you took out the figure. Also, as you can see, this figure stands well on its own without the base, but of course that is without the coat and the coat itself is very heavy, so after I put that on later, we will see if it still stands well. This is how the base looks like. So it says Portrait of Pirates, P.O.P, Sailing Again logo, and you have Eustass, Captain Kidd, and it says Kidd Pirates at the bottom. So generally it's kind of red in color, and towards the edges it just fades to black. I kind of wish that in the middle they used the Kidd's Jolly Roger instead. I think that would be more badass, but now it's just a P.O.P Sailing Again logo, and I think that makes it lose its uniqueness, in my opinion. I just put the coat onto Kidd, and as you can see, he stands fine too on its own, but because of the weight of the coat, he's kind of leaning a little bit towards the back, and I think for the sake of the long-term health of this figure, it is still better to use the base to support the figure. Let us take a closer look at the figure, starting from the head sculpt. First of all, the figure itself, the head is fixed, it's not on a ball joint, so you can't rotate it anyhow. And I would say in terms of character likeness, definitely there's room for improvement because it doesn't really capture the likeness 100%. I feel that post time skip Kidd, his face is a little bit wider. It's a little bit more squarish and wider, more structure to his face when compared to pre-time skip. Pre-time skip, his face is definitely sharper. If you just look at his first appearance in the Sabaody arc, totally different from how he looks like nowadays, due to Oda's changes, I guess. And definitely the face shape here could be better. And another thing I would say is the eyes also could have been a little bit bigger, a little bit more crazy. I think that will really capture Kidd very well, similar to the Maximum Kidd. And also another significant thing I feel is very signature with Kidd and his crew is the eyeshadows, but here is not prominent and emphasized enough. I think even like just having the eyeshadow a little bit thicker will add a lot of difference and likeness to this figure. Of course, other than that, I will say the details wise, it's pretty amazing. You can see for yourself the painting on the eyes, and there's kind of a little bit of shading or shadowing in the middle, so it's a little bit darker. Maybe they're trying to make him look more evil with the coloring. And the mouth itself, the lipstick, the dark lipstick, the teeth, I think they're all really well done. It's open mouth, so you can actually sort of see into the mouth and the tongue, but it's not very clear on the video. The tongue itself is a little bit reflective and purplish in color. The goggles are great too. You have those blue glasses at the front, and the frame is actually gold painted, little bit of reflective paint. And towards the side, obviously, I think even the around the eyes is the really amazing part about the face, is the scar that runs from the side of the face to the neck and to the chest. I think honestly the scar is really well done. It's honestly pretty crazy in details, and you can sort of feel the depth on the skin of the figure. Of course, the hair is also really amazing. They're all sort of blown back towards the back of the head, and if you were to look closely, I think there are actually seam lines on the hair, but it has been concealed really well. So I think that's a job well done on MEGAHOUSE's part. And this is the other side, so you can see the ear. Now I'm not too sure why, but I think you should be able to see this on the video, but the tone of the skin tone of the face is kind of different from the neck. It's darker, significantly darker on the face, and this transition is not very natural. So kind of disappointed in that. I think in terms of the coloring, it could have been a lot better. But I'm not sure why, but it just seems like the skin tone on the face is just darker than the rest of the body. And it may look a little bit weird, if you were to just focus too much on it. I think it's kind of weird looking. For his body, the quality of the details continues, And I try to capture all angles of this figure, but it's a little bit difficult due to his pose and of course his arm in the way. But you can see the scar just really continues down to the left part of his chest, and the details on it too are also really amazing, similar to the face. There's also scar on his right forearm over here, which is also similar in the detail design wise. And you have these two metal streaks to the left of his chest, which I think they are part of his metal left arm or something. I guess they are part of it. And of course, if you just look at his body sculpt, the muscles are really well sculpted. This guy is ripped man. It is cut. It is super buff, and even looking at his abs here, wow, really well done. His body is pretty amazing, and I think they did add some shadowing to his muscles to enhance the curvature, the contours on it. So even his arms are huge, man, really huge. And another big part of the top half here is the vest that he's wearing. I feel that the details on it in terms of the creases are also amazing, and not just the obvious ones like over here, the minor ones, like, let me see if I can get it, like here, minor striations, minor creases are also very clear and obvious, and I think this just adds more realism to the figure. This is really well done. Okay, and obviously there's also shading and shadowing involved to give you more realistic look at the back. I think it's pretty clear here, and it's the same pretty much to the side of his body. Really amazing work. What else can I say? And towards the middle here, middle section here, you have two belts. Pretty okay. And let me just do a round 360 turn for you guys. And even on the belt, you can see they did try to vary the colors to give the shading effect. And this small little gold, I'm not sure what I call that, but buttons thingy, they are also pretty well painted, very crisp in the painting. And towards the bottom, you have part of his, I would say maybe it's like it could be part of his, I don't know, part of his pants, but this part has a very leathery feel to it, and the details on it is also top class. 3 silver metal parts in the middle, but the creases, the details, the little lines that you see are all very well done. Just incredible. Okay, and but honestly, you know what? For the price of this figure, I wouldn't expect any less from MEGAHOUSE. This is the details I expect, and of course, this is his sash. It's a little bit movable, and for here, I think it's more simple. Just generally pretty much black in color, no shading involved. And for his pants, this is very similar to the Maximum kit in terms of you know, these lines are actually carved into the sculpt, so you can feel it. I'm glad they did that. They didn't really save on this part. And of course, the coloring wise, it's also a good job because you get to see the shading around the creases. Some parts are darker. I think the yellow this time around, it's definitely much darker overall than the Maximum kit. But I think I guess it still works and it fits the figure. This is the back, so you can just see it for yourself. And here it's kind of like a hot pink kind of color, I would say. And of course, last but not least, you have his shoes. And his shoes are actually very nice looking because generally they are both just very reflective, coated in this very bronze kind of paint. I think it's let me just try to give better focus, and it looks very sleek and beautiful somehow, even though they don't have much details on it. One of the main highlights of the figure is the left metal arm, and I'm not even sure what I can say but to just show you guys these shots. And from here you can see just how detailed the left metal arm is, especially the coloring and coating of the metal is so realistic. Even the inconsistency of the metal surface itself is well captured. I think you can see it here. And this thing is actually rotatable 360, so you can actually display it however you want, but I think it wouldn't make sense if you put it like this, so it's better to just put it around here. The fingers are fixed, so you can't play with that, but man, really the details and the realism of the way they painted this is just incredible. Really incredible. And I think one of the, I would say, regarding P.O.P is one of the most amazing ones I've seen. Now, I don't think I can speak much, but just show you guys. I think that will just show you the details and how amazing it is. Obviously, Maximum Kit still wins out in terms of, you know, the size and the details on it. But if Maximum Kit has this kind of painting, realistic painting and modeling, I think, wow, that will be even more insane and more amazing. So you have, like, I don't know what you call this, like pistons, hydraulic pistons here, and all these lines and marks that you see that are just so realistic. Some chipped areas, and even for this part there are some realistic scratches. So honestly, just a great piece of work here. And it's, you know, when you have a part like this of a figure that looks so amazing, it just adds so much to the figure. Really beautiful. Okay, I hope I've shown you guys most areas. And even, like, I think even when you compare across the three main parts here, you can also see the metal itself has different colors, which is very realistic, because not all metal they have the same color, they look the same. This is Kit's coats, and I will say the quality of the details here is also amazing. Very well done, but I would say I'm not actually impressed, because this is the level I expect. So well within my expectations and nothing surprising. And all this cluster of fur, very pointy. You can actually feel it if you touch it. And of course, certain parts are also darker, like over here and here. It might seem like it is something like a black, but I think that's the camera's work. It's just, you know, between red and, you know, maroon. Some parts are darker. So the shading and shadowing game is also well done here. There are some seam lines near where the sleeves are, but I think they are pretty much well concealed within this design. And I'm not sure if how this compares with Maximum Kit from my memory. I'll bring it out later to see, but this is honestly very good. Okay, and towards the front, the inside is of course more tame in terms of details, but towards the front, the sides here, you get a little bit of a purplish tint over here as well. And I think they just wanted a little bit more color variation towards the front where you look at the figures, and, you know, if not, it will be too boring. Now, one thing I want to add is that I remember when the first edition came out, there were issues with the coat. They mentioned, I think even from Leave No One's Behind's video, this part is very tight when you put it onto the figure, but I think they fixed that. So what happens was, previously when you put the coat onto the figure, some of the inner paint gets transferred onto the body of Kit itself, and honestly it looks pretty bad, doesn't look good at all. But I think this time round they did make the mold a little bit looser, so it doesn't fit as tightly. As you can see, it's kind of a little bit of room to wriggle around. And I think if you were to be very careful, you shouldn't have any paint smudging and transferring onto the body itself. So I think that's one issue they fixed from previously, and that's a job well done. The height of this figure from the bottom of the base to the top of his head, it's around 25.5 cm, so around 10 inches. If you're talking to the top of his left metal arm, I think that's around 28.5 cm, so around 11.25 inches. I have taken out maximum kit so we can do a side-by-side comparison. First of all, I stand corrected about the quotes. The one over here is definitely much more amazing than the one on the left. I think the details and qualities are probably a few levels above the maximum kit. But having said that, because the maximum kit, you know, it came out so long ago, I think for a figure that came out during that time, it still holds up very well, and it is still amazing. Now, another thing I want to mention is the face, which I talked about previously. I think it's very obvious here when you compare them side by side how much the look of Kid has changed. And honestly, if you look at it on the left, his face is much sharper and his eyes are bigger compared to the volume of his face, and the eyes here are just too small. And I think even though they tried to make this, is definitely much more, I would say, wider than the maximum kit, I still think it's not enough. So if I were to rate just on likeness wise, definitely the maximum kit wins out, and for this figure they didn't really capture the kid's likeness. But I think overall I feel that, sidetrack a bit, I feel that for MEGAHOUSE P.O.P, they always have certain issues with capturing completely 100% the likeness of characters. It's just a very recurring thing I've seen. I think it's a style thing with the artist, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Even for the P.O.P Wano Nami that came out recently, I feel that it doesn't really look like Nami at all. There are definitely figures out there that resembles her much better. So back to the topic, other than that, I would say these two figures are amazing, and this is definitely one way you can display them, just the pre-time skip kit and a post-time skip kit looking amazing together. This is the P.O.P Sailing Again version 2 Luffy next to Kid. Unfortunately, I do not have a P.O.P lore right now because I sold my Sailing Again one quite some time back, and I kind of regretted that. I want that figure back hopefully someday. But obviously the captains themselves, three of them, the trio, they will look amazing together, as you can see over here. While we are at it, I took out Zoro Sailing Again P.O.P, so we have three of our supernovas here. And I think if you have other supernovas like Killer and Beach, definitely putting them together will also be a great display. Alright guys, that's pretty much all I have to say for this figure. In summary, my main complaint is actually just the face. I feel that the face doesn't really capture Kid's likeness very well. Maybe, you know, maybe 70 to 80%, definitely room for improvement. And I have no idea why also for my kid. I'm not sure if it's just mine or it's the same for everyone else. The face, the skin tone of the face just seems a little bit darker than the rest of the body, which just makes it kind of weird. Maybe they're just trying to make him look more evil and sinister, but it doesn't come off very naturally for me. Let me know if this is the same for the first release also, or you know, maybe I just got a bad one or something. Alright, other than that, the rest of the figure, the details are honestly really amazing. But is it worth the price, you know, for this re-release? I actually think no. I think the price is really insane for a limited edition re-release. But unfortunately, I think because of this, you know, this figure coming out, the price has just been jacked up for both the first edition and now this second edition. So if you want to get a P.O.P kit, I don't think it will come cheap at all, especially in the aftermarket now. It will definitely be insane. So unless you really can afford it and you really want it, I think, you know what, just save your money, man. It's just too expensive. Save your money for some of the better Banpresto figures out there. Okay, let me know what you guys think about this figure, about my thoughts. And as usual, if you're new here, you have not subscribed to my channel, feel free to do so if you like my videos and you want to see more videos like this. And thank you guys so much. I will see you guys very soon. Goodbye.